Let's talk about The Patient because it's going to be very short.
Okay. Well, speaking of psychiatry,
which obviously we were doing.
yes. Well, in a roundabout way, I guess we were kind of. Maybe
Yeah.
our psychosis.
Yeah.
So we actually, I found this miniseries on Hulu, and I was like, wait, Steve Carell is trying to be serious. This might be interesting. so it's called The Patient. It's a TV miniseries on Hulu. The episodes are only 20 minutes long. It's about a psychotherapist who recently lost his wife. He finds himself held prisoner by a serial killer with an unusual request to curb his homicidal urges.
Yes.
And I think, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Good start.
Well, the thing is, the reason I'm having trouble starting is because there was just one thing that I thought was kind of sterling about this. And it was the acting of the lunatic, of the kid that's what's his name?
The actor's name is Domhnall Gleeson.
Domhnall Gleeson is the one that is holding Steve
He plays
Carell.
Sam. He plays Sam.
Plays Sam, and Sam is holding Steve
Steve Carell, which
Carell
his name is
hostage.
Alan.
And he is a creepy motherfucker.
Oh no, he's actually he's perfect.
Excellent. He is absolutely perfect. And Steve Carell, unfortunately,
Actually, really? Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
he was Steve Carell.
I think all the acting all around is brilliant in this. Like the mom,
I think the weakest is Steve Carell.
but Steve Carell is he's trying to do something he doesn't normally do. He tries to be serious, which is, but I still think he did a decent job.
I know, but he does serious. He's doing serious like he's never acted before. You know, it's he's doing serious just like it's something that's completely foreign to him.
Well,
know?
it kind of is probably.
Yeah, which it is, and in some of the flashbacks, and I think
with the wife.
with the wife, the flashbacks he's particularly terrible, but I do like in the flashbacks I do like the wife quite a bit.
See, I think for me, I overlook maybe his weakness a little bit because I like Steve Carell so much that
Yeah,
I can overlook it.
yeah,
And I hung in there. I've actually watched every episode that I was able to watch. I think I watched first four.
yeah, I think I watched the first three. I don't think that we could get the other one.
But in the three, so they're putting out one a week, and they're only 20 minutes long. So that's probably like maybe wait to binge it because it's kind of frustrating when you like when I was going from three, I wanted to see
Right.
four, and I had to wait to watch four. So I was
Right,
like,
yeah.
But I think it did hit its stride. Like it's funny because I always talk about how episode three is always when things either hit their
Right,
stride or they go down.
I did think that it was a little. We spent an awful lot of time on establishing shots. Kept
Yeah, you're right,
going around and around in circles, trying to tell us.
Or
you
really
know,
long shots
it
of
was
like the room.
Yeah, or the car.
But isn't that kind of like the
didn't-
independent filming approach, like back in the
It-
90s? Remember where they show like a shot?
No, it definitely is. But there's something about it is that they have a different shot every time. They're
Yeah.
using a lot of shots of the exterior of him leaving in his truck and all the rest of that.
And
I
that
don't-
weird window.
Yeah, and there's a certain point where you don't need to see that anymore. I like the long weird shots interior because they have Carell in them or they have the somebody else in them, but the exterior shots we're spending an awful lot of time.
Do you think they were trying to build suspense with those shots, or do you think
Yeah, I think that they were
didn't really work? But
it didn't work, and it's not giving me it hasn't given me a sense of the geometry of the geology of where we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's to me that's kind of a critical thing. I want to know where I'm at, but it's almost as if they went around they went outside and they took a different establishing shot 20 feet away from each other in a circle all the way around the building.
We're going to use all this footage because
We're gonna use all of
Bill's going to retire soon, so we got to be nice to Bill.
That's right.
No, actually, there's one time that shot worked, though, was when he was talking to somebody, and I think it did add some suspense, too, because you see the truck coming from a distance, kind of, and then you see the light coming in the window.
Oh, yeah.
As he's trying to say, shh.
Yeah, but that was more of a sequence. Yeah, that was more of a sequence.
No, that was episode 4 I'm talking about, I think.
Oh,
so,
episode 4. Okay, well, I haven't
you
seen
haven't seen it yet,
4.
but
yeah,
I don't think. But that's when he's talking to somebody. I think
Oh.
you'll probably see what later.
maybe all of a sudden I'll go, oh, I see what they're doing.
And so this reminds me a little bit of Dexter, and I think this guy actually does an amazing job at being
He is
kind of acting normal, but he's crazy. He's doing a really good job at that.
what he's doing is he's doing a really good job of explaining crazy, of explaining, of putting a reasonable face on being crazy.
Well, he's in psychotherapy. So if Dexter took therapy, he's let me explain how I feel.
Yeah,
See?
exactly.
Oh, and by the way, this did remind me of when I was in sales, and I was sitting in a board meeting. I know there's at least 2 or 3 of these guys I worked with, so that's really creepy to think about. Those guys that were kind of quiet and a little odd at the end of the table. I'm just saying, because there's a scene in episode 4 where they're sitting at a board table. I had horrible flashbacks, but anyway. So, by the way, there's one confusing thing that, again, this is another one, I think it's episode 3 or 4, but there's a comment where somebody says, well, I know my family's looking for me. That's what Steve Carell says. And I'm like, are they really? Because, and how do we know that? I mean, what? And that might be a nice thing to show.
Yeah, because his son didn't seem particularly to give a crap about him one way or the other, And
so I'm hoping they get to that. Like, I'm going to hang in and watch this, and I'm hoping they show the son and how he's reacting to anything.
You see, that's the other weird thing about this movie that's kind of gotten me is so far it's very it has a very fantasy feel to it because there isn't a connection between the rest of the world. It has it has a play like feeling to it.
Yes.
Yeah, it really does. I thought to myself, about halfway through the second episode, I thought this was a play at one time, wasn't it?
Well, you'll see Sam in a boardroom, so he is in another location for a while.
Well, there you go.
But I want to see the son maybe acting like, oh, I don't know where he is, whatever, or something.
Right. Yeah, what the hell?
Or maybe freaking out, oh my God, where is he?
My dad.
But anyway, I think it's pretty decent for a psychological thriller, even though...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree Steve Carell probably isn't as strong of an actor as if they brought somebody else in, like Willem Dafoe or something.
I will tell you the truth, it is too depressing for me to continue.
Oh, really?
It's too, I've been, I think that since COVID came out, I don't want things that drag me down for long periods of time because I'm having enough trouble breathing as it is.
So why are you doing this podcast?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's
Don't
the
ask.
writing. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about this, but I think the writing is actually pretty decent. Like, I think
Yes,
they
it really
do a pretty
is.
good job. So this is Dexter without the horrible. Well, I like Dexter, so I can't really say too much about it.
yeah,
But
well, you know what,
this is
no,
without
it's-
that voice, Dexter's voice.
It's
The Dark Passenger told me
Dark
to do this.
that
yeah.
guy.
This is more it's stripped down Dexter shot in a bathroom.
And that's actually one thing I liked about it is that maybe
it's
the
great.
establishing shots help me with this because like they have these long shots and there's pauses in between their lines, so it gives you time to kind of think about it.
It does have a very architectural feel to it.
Like Dexter is like telling you how to feel about it.
Right.
This is actually letting you do it on your own.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely. It's like playing in front of you, and you're
trying to
just-
figure it out. Maybe
just,
it'll be more uplifting. Maybe they'll have a big sex orgy or something. Who knows? I mean, Maybe Steve Carell or Alan will fall in love with Sam. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
Maybe the mom will come down and hook up with Alan. I don't know.
So what do you rate it?
Well, it's better than any Law and Order or CSI. I think it's not as good as Dexter, even though I said it's better than Dexter in one way.
Yeah.
I like to contradict myself endlessly.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Oh, really?
No, Dexter was better overall, but I think that one aspect of always hearing him narrating everything, the exposition was a little too much.
Yeah.
So this doesn't have that, and the guy that plays the killer is amazing. So actually, I'm giving it a pretty good 4 right now, probably.
Ah, really?
Because I plan on watching more. I overlooked the fact that Steve Carell's not the best serious actor.
Yeah.
And also, David Alan Grier is listed in this movie, so he's one of my faves. So I want to see him.
I'm curious. I'm going to be curious as to whether tell me if he's got his, Gabby Hayes beard on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is very strange. I mean, it's like the beard that I saw him have the last time I saw him looked like the beard that they put on Gabby Hayes for Blazing Saddles. It was like really? That's kind of weird.
Well, he just hosted Jimmy Kimmel, and he had the beard on. So that was.
I know. That's.
This was shot probably 2021. So it probably does have the beard.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I mean,
anyway.
well, it kind of looks like the beard that somebody had.
Stop it! I'm gonna go. I'll say.
Rhymes with Rick.
I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.
A 3, okay.
It's just with the caveat that I just really don't want to see the rest of it because I'm not in the mood.
So the fact that we do a horror podcast and science fiction podcast, and you don't want to see anything negative.
No. Wait a minute. I didn't say no. You have to admit that this is more negative. This is
psychological thriller is a lot different than slasher.
It's a lot. That's different. This is drawing on the energy in your brain.
I get it. You want to see the fun Jason killing everybody.
That's right. Jesus.